Hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul, if Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign. This is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider hitting the subscribe button, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we come to a Seven of Pentacles. Okay, this is, for me, it feels like this is an unexpected result, an unwanted result of something that we've been working on. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a project, something at work, whether it's our career, our life, our financial situation, a health situation. We were trying to make some progress. We were going merrily on our way forward, and we hit a roadblock. We hit an obstacle. Okay. I think you're somebody that always tries to learn from your mistakes. You try to learn from the obstacles. You try to grow through challenges. This is the card called failure, right? It's the way that we try to approach the little f failures and learn something from that, right? To figure out a way that this can lead to my growth, my kind of strengthening of myself, figuring out a new way to adapt to life and to work my way through and reach the success that I'm after. Sometimes failures don't mean anything, though, do they? Sometimes it's just a pretty cruddy thing that has happened. And the only thing we can learn from it sometimes is to just keep going. You know, there's not always a lesson in everything. You know, and I think if we spend too much time searching for the lesson or trying to create the meaning of this, we're wasting time. We could be doing something else, okay? But it's a fine line. I feel like we need to look at it and say, what is it? What did I do wrong? Is this merely a lesson in surrender? Let's take a look with some more cards, okay? Let's put this into some context. Oh, well, now we have the growth. See, immediately we're from a 7 to an 8 of Pentacles. This is saying the next step you take is going to be a step of growth. If we linger too long here, whether we're investigating this, lamenting this, or just feeling bad about it, we're delaying the time we're getting to the actual growth. This is what we want to see. Of course, we're going to go through periods of failure. We're going to go through challenges. We're going to go through moments where what I'm doing doesn't seem to be working, but we keep doing it. We keep working. And there comes the growth that we're looking for. Okay? I like that card. I think that's a very good result. And there is our card of surrender, the Hanged Man. Our 4 of Cups, our 4 of Wands, our 5 of Cups. Okay. On this side, we have the Devil energy. We've got a 6 of Swords. We've got the 5 of Pentacles, which of course is what we don't want. And a 10 of Cups. Look at that. That is the breakthrough that you've been waiting for. Okay, that is I feel like this is really, I feel like you're a lot closer to success than you think. I feel like this is an overnight change. I feel like we've been lingering on this one problem for a while. And if we keep doing that, yes, in the short term, we're going to keep feeling upset. Right? This is it. This is kind of a cycle that's been repeating. It's kind of saying like, we've worked towards something. It didn't work. We feel terrible about it. We calm down eventually. We try again. If it doesn't work, we feel bad about it. We calm down. We try again. Right? This is kind of a cycle that we've been on. But through that cycle, what if you're making all the right progress that you need to be making? You know, this is kind of the idea that we go to the gym every day, and every day I lift all these weights, and I'm hurting. I'm sore. I'm sweating. I'm uncomfortable. I'm exhausted. I go home and I don't look any different. I'm sad. Well, then the next day comes around and I feel like, well, yeah, I guess I'm okay. I'm just going to go back and try again. Go back to the gym the next day. I lift a bunch of weights. I get tired. I get sore. I get uncomfortable and exhausted. I go home. I look in the mirror. I still look exactly the same, you know? And so then we feel upset about that, our emotions, right? We get our 5 of Cups. We calm down, 4 of Cups, and then we go back and we do it again. It's the same thing. But what if it's through that cycle of daily sort of daily work and toil and trying our very best without any kind of immediate reward or gratification that we're actually growing into exactly what we're supposed to be growing into, becoming who we're meant to become. Lo and behold, by me doing this process in the gym, which I really should get back to, I'm achieving the satisfaction, I'm achieving the goals that I set out to achieve. But it may not feel like that in the moment, but it is through the repetition that we achieve the growth. So let's not linger too long on any of these 7 of Pentacles, right? Because what we're doing is we're growing, we're changing, we're evolving. And by us sort of surrendering to this process, right, sticking to the plan, having the tenacity and the driving, motivating force of the devil energy, we're going to get the contentment, the satisfaction, the meaning. We are going to give birth to the meaning of our lives. And so it's important here that we're doing this for the right reasons. And I think that's maybe where we're at now. We're trying to remember, like, why am I involved? Why am I going around this merry-go-round? Why am I going to the gym every day feeling upset and then going back to the gym again tomorrow and feeling upset and feeling the pain and the exhaustion and whatever those emotions are that we're going to feel? Physical sensations or, the feelings, whether they're physical or emotional feelings. And then going back and doing it again. Why am I surrendering to this? Why am I saying I'm going to submit to that cycle? Well, it has to be a task. It has to be a purpose-driven life, There has to be a reason behind it. Something has to be motivating us. And that's what our devil energy is asking us today. What is the motivating factor here? Right. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Dwight K. Schrute right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this program you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay. Now let's take a look. 2 major arcana energy, right? We've got the Hanged Man and the Devil card. The Hanged Man here is kind of, to me, it's our conscious surrendering to this merry-go-round process. This circle, this going around and around and around and around, which is a spiral, not a circle. It is a wheel that we're just aware of the wheel spinning around, but what we don't realize is that it's driving forward, That there is progress, there is movement here. It may feel repetitive, may feel like we're going around in a circle, but there is growth through each one of those cycles, okay? And the Hanged Man is the surrendering to that process. It's basically the ego saying, I don't like it, but there's a higher order here that is dictating this. There's a higher purpose at work here that the ego is surrendering to. And the ego doesn't like that. The ego, I don't think, likes going to the gym unless, of course, we have big muscles and people are looking at us and we feel powerful and we can make the ego sort of satisfied, through those types of efforts. But generally, with these cards here, it doesn't feel like it's a very ego-gratifying experience for you. Okay? And the Devil card, of course, is our driving force. What motivates you? What are we in service to? Why are we doing this? Why does the ego feel like, okay, this is something that I have to do every day, I've got to stick with it, whether it's a relationship, a business, whether it's a physical activity, a financial thing, whether it's our art, our music, our stamp collection, our learning of a new skill, whatever it might be, something is driving us. right? Are we striving toward long-term pleasure? Maybe. Are we striving toward kind of an aggrandizement of the ego that's going to, we want the ego to be more powerful, so it's kind of like, well, it's going to the gym, I want my body to be stronger, so I'm going to put it through the ringer here at the gym on a semi-regular basis, and I will have that strength that I've always wanted. Are we trying to create something? Are we trying to create our best life, right? We have to know what the meaning is behind all of this, if it's going to work. If this is going to really result in a 10 of Cups, we have to know why we're doing this. And I think because of the cards you have, see, we have our 2 majors. We have a little bit of fire. We've got our water, a little bit of air, water up here, a little bit of air, and we've got earth, and more earth. It's fairly balanced, right? We don't have an overabundance of fire. We don't have an overabundance of air. So what we have is a lot of is the water and the earth. And to me, that's kind of the ego being very a passenger on this journey, right? The ego is not the one that's kind of doing it. We're not doing it for ego reasons. The ego is going to benefit from it, of course, right? That's not why we're doing it. The ego is the passenger. The true self, the deeper, the soul, the spirit, the higher self, the conscience, whatever you want to call it, your true will, your guardian angel, your spirit guide, that is who's driving the vehicle right now. The ego is the passenger, okay? Because we have the passive elements here of water and earth, okay? The water and earth also are telling me that this is a deep kind of heart and soul desire. It's not an ego desire. It's a heart and soul desire as the reason why we're here, the reason why we're engaged in this work, okay? And we got just enough fire, just enough air to have the ego sort of active and on board and kind of sticking to the plan, you know? So I like what we have. And I think that through the 7 and the 8, this is a very natural progression. It's saying I meet with the obstacle, I meet with the challenge, I meet with the physical resistance of the weights, you know, the barbells or whatever they're called, and I push through it. And I do it. And, you know, the ego is kind of like, and I think the gym is a perfect example for that. I think everybody has been in some kind of a physical exercise regimen. You know, whether it's at the gym or at home, whether it's yoga, stretching, whatever, right? You're meeting with, let's say it's stretching, you're meeting with resistance every time you stretch. But it's right at that resistance point. You're stretching your ligaments and muscles and tendons, not to the point of pain, right? They say if it hurts, don't do it. But you can feel the stretch, and that's where you got to stay because that's where the growth is happening. And then you back off and things relax and then things kind of heal together and get stronger and you stretch again and you feel the tension. That's a 7 to an 8. 7, 8, 7, 8. We're stretching it. We're pushing ourselves. We're coming up against the resistance and we're doing what we can. You're lifting weights. You want to lift with, you want resistance. You know, we're not just lifting air. That's not really going to do it very much. It'll take longer, but it's still exercise, you know. I'm just thinking of somebody who is, we're exercising just by breathing, right? Just by being upright. We're overcoming resistance, you know, just by breathing in and out, we're overcoming the resistance of the weight of gravity or the tension of our own diaphragm muscles, you know, intercostal muscles and things that are trying to squeeze the air out of us. When we relax fully, the air goes out, right? We have to work to take in every breath. You know, that is us exercising our control, exercising our will. And I feel like we're sort of, I feel like we're aware of that, and then we're trying to just bring it to the level of unconscious. We're trying to let it become an automatic process, which is the surrender of the ego. The ego saying, fine, we'll just go to the gym and we'll lift the weights and that'll be that. And the ego, you know, puts in the headphones and just tries to occupy itself with something else, you know. But that's where the growth takes place, when we push ourselves up against that resistance, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whether it's spiritual, creative, financial, whatever it is, we're sort of stretching ourselves to the limit, and then we're pulling back a little bit, and through that process we're achieving the growth. So really it's Spirit's way of saying, keep doing what you're doing. Okay? Even though in the immediate future, what we see is, of course, our Five of Cups. In the immediate future, we have not success, right? Not pleasure. In the immediate future, let's say when you're done at the gym, or when you have 5 minutes left at the gym, right? That's when you feel kind of the worst. It's like the last 5 minutes, excuse me, is the most challenging. Because we're already super tired, and it's like, I've got 5 more reps on this bench press thing or whatever. And it's the most grueling, right? So in the immediate future, we feel a kind of disappointment, we feel a pain, we feel some negative, unpleasant emotions, But that's the disappointment of the immediate future. So we're sacrificing our short-term gratification for the long-term meaning, the long-term satisfaction. Okay, the Five of Cups is disappointment. Five of Cups is saying, I go home, I look in the mirror, I don't look any different. Well, yeah, because this isn't a short-term gain. This is a long-term thing. Whether it's financial, physical, it's a relationship. It's kind of saying we have to put in the work every day if we're going to create this meaningful dream come true. Now, if all we were seeking was the immediate gratification, then we'd only go around this merry-go-round a couple of times before we say, hey, wait a minute, I'm being tricked here. There's nothing here for me, right? And that's why we have to know what our motivation is. We have to feel that this is something that is meant for us, that is right for us. And the way we do that, I think, is through realizing that this is a process that is helping me to grow. This is a life-expanding task, repeating task that I'm involved in. It's something that's helping me to become a better person, stronger person, happier person, healthier person, more successful, more financially abundant person, whatever the goals are. This is helping me expand my life. The other option would be, well, I'm doing all this and I feel like my life is constricting. I feel like I'm contracting my life. I feel like this is not healthy for me. I feel like I'm getting worse. I feel like the long-term results of this are going to be very detrimental. So we can't judge the appropriateness of our path by our Five of Cups in the immediate future. Because this is going to say, well, at the end of the day at the gym, I feel like crud. Okay, well then, I guess I shouldn't be doing the gym anymore. So no. And we don't say, well, at the end of a night of having a few beers, I feel pretty good. I should keep doing that every night, right? That seems like a healthy thing. No. Take it from my personal experiences. For me, it's not a healthy thing. So we can't judge the appropriateness of our path by the short-term experience. We have to consider the long-term. Is this healthy for me in the long term? Well, you see a 10 of Cups long term, yeah. If we saw maybe a 7 or even an 8, we'd be, well, I'm not sure yet. If we saw a 7, I would say, no, long term, this is not good for you, right? But we see a 10, and I think that says that long term, this is going to be a path that has tremendous meaning for you. I think you're a lot closer than you think to that realization of the significance and the meaning of the path that you're on. Like we said about the Hanged Man, to me that is the ego sort of surrendering. This is us acquiescing consciously to this cycle. And it's kind of saying, the ego is saying, okay, I will forego the immediate gratification. Let's say the immediate desire for happiness. See, what we want is pleasure. We didn't get it. This is where we kind of were hoping for pleasure. It wasn't there. It's a disappointment, right? The Five of Cups. Something should be there, but it's not. Well, it's that extra cup to make it a 6 of Cups, right? Didn't quite make it. The Hanged Man is saying, or the ego really is saying, okay, I'll participate in this, because there's something coming from above, something coming from your higher self or your inner heart and soul that's saying, this is the path that's leading to our growth. This is the path that we should be on. There's something that's confirming it inside of you, right? And so it's sort of it's allowing us to subdue the ego a little bit, and the ego will acquiesce to the higher self. Yeah, and that is keeping us in this cycle. And again, the Four of Wands here, it's a Venus in Aries sort of energy, and to me, it's saying that the reason we have all of this, ability to do this difficult thing and keep repeating the process, the reason why we have the energy to face this is because we love it. Because there's something deeper here, there's something very meaningful here. It's not about happiness, it's not about pleasure, it's not about gratification. It's not about pumping up the ego. There's a significance and a meaning and a purpose here that is attracting us. And so we're sort of looking at that bigger picture, and then so the immediate pleasure or pain that's right here next to me, I'm not even really noticing that because I'm like, I got my eyes on that big, the big purpose, the bigger, larger meaning here. It doesn't mean it has to be far away either, okay? And indeed, I think with the Four of Wands up here at the top, I feel like we know that it's just another couple go-rounds and we're going to get that breakthrough. Okay, I feel like we know that we're reaching a milestone here. Okay, and I don't think that this is something that is going to be a one and done or a finished product. I don't think it's something where we're going to get to the finish line and then we say, I'm done, I've got my dream life. I think it's always going to be something that we want to participate in. It's going to be an ongoing process. Okay, but I feel like we're about to reach that breakthrough where we kind of, we're getting the big Ten of Cups satisfaction, the big Ten of Cups, a sense of meaning here that's going to sort of confirm for us that we were right all along, that this was a good idea, The Four of Cups in the background here, recent past, I feel like entering into this, you weren't kind of sure what it would feel like. You didn't really know what to expect, right? With this, I kind of feel that it took a lot to get us moving. Anytime we get a 4, we start looking for the 5. We have 2 of the 4s. We've got 2 of the 5s as well. So it's kind of like it took some effort to get going. Okay. The 4 is supposed to be a temporary state. Okay. And so it feels like we realized that we didn't need to linger here too long. This is a place where the ego feels kind of safe and relatively happy. Not happy, comfortable, right? This is ego comfort. And the ego's kind of saying, I don't want to be uncomfortable. But okay, I guess I will if it means that we're going to have, this Ten of Cups, a greater experience through this process. I guess I can get up and I can get going on it. I guess I'll be okay, And just as the Four of Wands is sort of a temporary energy too. It's meant to be impermanent. So I think the ego is kind of like saying, okay, I'll do this. I'll go to the gym every day and I'll do this kind of thing as long as, we're kind of talking to the higher self, as long as you can promise me that one day very soon we'll get some kind of a reward. I'll see some kind of benefit from this, and I'll get some positive, some positive feedback, some kind of positive reinforcement for the ego, And so I think the Four of Wands is reminding us of that yes, this particular cycle that you're in, going to the gym, lifting the weights and going home, going back to the gym, lifting the weights, going home. That cycle is going to eventually change. Okay, it's gonna mold or morph into something else, but there will be a kind of milestone that we reach. There will be, I think, this breakthrough that we achieve that's going to be very gratifying. Okay, it's kind of you're going to the gym for a certain period of time, and then there comes that point where you do kind of just like where you look in the mirror and you think, yeah, you know what, I am different. I feel much healthier now. And look at me, I've slimmed down, or whatever it is, we get that sort of confirmation that, hey, yeah, it worked. And so the ego gets a little bit of that a little bit of that sweetness from the process, you know. So I like this very much for you. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. These readings are free. Yeah. So your general energy is the devil card. There's something inside of you that's driving you forward. Something that means more to you. Something that is more powerful than your ego. Okay. And this is this is the engine of the car. Okay, this is the goat that you put it in front of any mountain, it's going to climb the mountain. Like Joseph Campbell said, you put the ladder against the building, you climb the ladder. Well, you got to make sure it's the right building. So the goat climbing up the mountain, well, you got to make sure it's the right mountain, right? We don't want to go spending our lives climbing the wrong mountains for the wrong reasons. So I think that's where we kind of, this is where we check in with ourselves, and this is where we connect with our higher self. And I think that we have this card in your general energy, which shows that you know what's motivating you. You know what the long-term results of this are going to be. They're going to be short-term pleasure and pain. There will be moments where the ego will get the short-term gratification that it might need in order to kind of stay on board, right? But otherwise, we've got this devil energy that is your desire to create this satisfying life, that you have some sort of purpose in you. There's some meaning here that means more to you than just the short-term pleasure pain. There'll be good days, bad days. I'll be happy one day, spontaneous moments of happiness, and then there'll be other days where I just feel like junk. And that's okay. We're still continuing the work because that's the ego responding to a million variable factors throughout the day, whether I'm going to feel good today or not, you know. But underneath everything, there is this feeling of being driven toward this purpose, being driven with meaning in life. Okay? And I think you have that. You have that motivation. You also have the plan, the Six of Swords. Everything that you do has a point to it. And I love this card. You know what? I really, truly, I love all the swords cards. Because I feel like they're the most helpful. They're the most pains in the ass, really, but they're helpful, right? And the Six of Swords is very helpful because it tells us that we're organized mentally, intellectually, in such a way that everything we do kind of has a point to it. And all those points are pointing toward the center of the rose at the center of the cross, right? Everything that we're doing is getting to the heart of the thing. Everything that we're doing, every thought, word, and deed, every movement, every particular exercise routine, every weight that I lift, every choice that I make, every food that I eat, every breath that I take has a point to it. And we're trying to make all those points point to the heart, point to what really matters. So I think it's a way really of you organizing your life and even organizing your relationships with other people, right? That everybody is kind of is encouraging you. Everything is supporting your goal, even if it's indirectly, right? Getting a good night's sleep, well, yeah, that's supporting your goal of 10 of Cups, whatever it is, you know, getting healthy, right? It's not necessarily that every friend you have is like a gym rat, you know. It's not like everything you do is just like all you can think about is the gym and like your protein shakes or whatever. Maybe it is. Maybe that's how you really stay focused, is making everything around you, reminding you and encouraging you and supporting that goal very directly. But it could be like you have really good friends, right, that you can talk to and that support you, even if they don't go to the gym themselves, even if they're just like, ew, you go to the gym, you know. But they're still indirectly supporting you. They're not neutral and they're not negative, right? We don't want the negative energy coming in. So I feel like our relationships outside are very, you have a discernment about you. Yeah. And so you're really right now on that path where even if you were to have some ice cream at the end of a long, hard week, let's say on a Saturday night, you're going to have some ice cream, you know, in a can of pop or something. It doesn't directly support your goal of going to the gym and getting, you know, getting all these muscles, does it? Well, in a way, maybe it indirectly does. Because maybe it relaxes you enough rewards the ego just enough that the ego can then resume the next day. It's why we have, in these diets, you kind of have these cheat days, or at the gym, in the exercise routine, you have a rest day, or you have a day of like, not really rest, but like fun day. Sunday fun day, right? Well, we're not going to go to the gym today, ego. We're going to go to the swimming pool, right? Or we're just going to go for a walk out in nature, something like that. Okay, but everything you do, every thought, word, and deed has a point to it. And everything's getting right to the heart. Yeah. Now, the 5 of Pentacles is what the ego does not want, and that is more work, more uncertainty, wants more struggle. But I feel like, again, anytime we get the 4, we get the 5. Anytime we get some rest, we get more activity. Anytime we get disappointment and worry, we get, satisfaction, and we get stability, and we get safety. Anytime we get upset, we get calmed down again. So the 5 of Pentacles is really interesting because it shows that things are about to happen. It shows that the light is about to break forth from underneath. And what we're doing through our work is we're slowly chipping away at the crust, right? We're slowly chipping away at all the dried mud and brick and dirt that's encasing the outside of this thing. We're chiseling away at it. And eventually we're going to reveal whatever's underneath. Yeah. And so I feel like this is, the obstacle here is to keep at it. The obstacle is just the work itself. I mean, it's literally the obstacle is the obstacle. Yeah. And so I feel like you know exactly what you need to do. And I feel like any moment now, you're going to hit this thing just right. And boom, underneath, this 10 of Cups is going to shine forth. Okay? I feel like that breakthrough is happening. So the message really seems to be keep doing what you're doing. Maintain this energy. There's nothing wrong with the cards we see here. Even we see, we got a 5, we got a 7 of Pentacles. Oh, that's, probably I lost a lot of viewers when the first 7 of Pentacles came out. Everyone said, nope, that reading's not for me. We like that, though. We need that because it shows that you're working on something, that you're doing something, that you're living your purpose, you're living your life, and that's going to have a marvelous result. Okay, I want to look at the mystery card. Maybe another 10 of Cups. Maybe Wheel of Fortune, expansion. Maybe Tower, breakthrough moment. Maybe the Judgment card, right? Kind of waking up into this next level that we have sort of hit a new level in something here. Those are some good possibilities. If you have an idea, put it in the comments. Let's see. 7 of Wands, yeah. 7 of Wands, we're fighting even when the ego does not want to fight. And of course we have our 7 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles. What does this give us? It gives us, 7 is the number of Venus. By the way, we had Venus in Aries, right? Venus is kind of the desire, the attraction, the deepest aspiration of what we want more than anything in the world, right? Our sense of purpose. But we also have fire and earth. Fire and earth, the spiritual electrical circuit of creation. That you know how to get things done. You are a manifester. I think that you are mastering the art and science of manifestation. You are a magician, right? And so it's sort of the ego is in alignment with the true self here. And you're working together in order to manifest the reality. This is you chipping away at the crust. With love, with devotion, with absolute, this aspiration, this yearning of the soul, with this sense of meaning and purpose. You're living a purpose-driven life, right? You're working with you're operating with such purpose. And I think that you're growing through this process every single moment, even if you don't immediately recognize it. And I think that you're about to make a profound discovery. And now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around for the extended, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. All right. New readings for Leo Tuesday and Saturday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. Be sure to watch both of your readings. And hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed yet. Okay, these readings are totally free. Leave a comment, let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.